And welcome back to the Michael and Ellis show for Survivor 48, episode 4. We have a very special guest this week. It is my mom. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
For myself,
thank you so much for joining us.
I know I know her as my mom, but for everyone else, this is Tory. She has been a fan since day one, watching ever since. I mean, Mom, I know you downplay your knowledge of the game, but I do think you have a very unique and valuable perspective on the show.
We'll see. Give me 30 minutes. We'll see.
What are your thoughts on the season so far?
Well, I knew you were going to ask that. I feel like I didn't have a ton of prep time because Ellis asked me earlier this afternoon.
It was very short notice.
But I will do my best. And I thought as I was driving home thinking about it, for me, my favorite part of the last episode kind of sums up how I feel about the season. And it's when we can spoil, right? Like, this is okay that I...
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, so
Spoiler zone.
When Thomas is in, he gets the votes and he stands up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, is he going to punch someone? Is there going to be a fist fight? But there's like a moment of silence and then he's like, well, give me a hug. And I just... loved that part because that sums up the season so far. Is like they're players, but they respect the game. There's this new language of real life versus survive. It's like, oh my God, it's like the innie and the outies. No, we won't talk about that show, but But I do feel like there's like a weird humanity where the game's respected and but it's competitive.
Yeah,
I
mean,
really found a balance with that. Every single, especially you see it with Mary and Say too. I feel like in seasons prior, it's usually bitter rivalry. We've seen people that kind of play hard, say before, with Rome, and Rome genuinely piss people off. He and Saul could not be in the same room together, but now you have this kind of different dynamic where it's okay, we understand this is a game, this isn't personal, which is really interesting. And it's I always find it interesting when it's kind of they cast people and it's all across the board they all agree on this. It's no one seems like they're taking things really personally, as opposed to last season when everyone took everything so personally.
Well,
but sorry, Ellis, but there is a vulnerability because you do take it personally because you're so invested.
Yeah.
Oh, Tobin is making an appearance. Yeah,
Tobin loves to hear your voice.
Well, Michael, you also brought up a good point about Say and Mary's rivalry, and I was also going to bring up how Thomas has been kind of shown as this big villain this so far. So a lot of us thought he'd make it deep into the show because of he was this big villain character. But even what you're saying, Mom, about there's that pause of is he gonna punch someone or what is he gonna do? There's almost a weird arc there where he is this villain, but then when he gets voted out, he's like, well, give me a hug. There's that sense of vulnerability and respect and genuine caring for his castmates too. I didn't think of that till just now, but I think that is very, very nice. I also do want to ask you, Mom, about, I mentioned it at the end of our last season, but you thought 47 there was a lot of game bots, almost you described it as an echo chamber, or what was the word you used? I forget.
Hermetic.
Hermetic. Yes. Word of the day. Word of the
Word of the
podcast.
day.
And it's a big word for me.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because I did feel it last season. Like, man, they gotta cast people who are not all super fans because it's get like this insider is it's good to have the game evolving with people who have, love the game. But I also just love the wild card, like bringing fresh energy and different references into the game. But I'm not feeling that so much this season, even though they are like mostly fans. I don't know. Do you guys feel that?
Michael?
I I haven't really felt that. I feel like with people, like a lot of them are really just giving like not that they're not fans. I think if you go on this show, like even if you weren't really a fan to begin with, if I found out I was getting casted for a reality show, like you're gonna binge at least like a season just to see.
Gotta prep.
But but like I do agree that there are contestants like David and like
Mhm.
Chrissy, I think are the two biggest examples of people who are not really like into the show or aren't like super fans. They were just kind of like, this looks cool. We're gonna compete. And I mean, they're both still in. So
Right.
it's clear that even if you are a super fan, that's not really a leg up in this. But
Well,
I
I
have liked it more.
I love that you brought up David because, not like my favorite in the beginning, but he's totally endeared himself because he's like on the show because he fucking wants his girlfriend back.
I
Like he's
know.
got to get some money because so it's like this, like, I want the money, I'm serious, like, so I can like marry the woman I love. And that kind of desperation I'm in, like, I love it.
And the vulnerability. Yeah. I definitely David is like the best example of someone who he saw I think they even said he like saw the show. He always knew it existed, but he's suddenly had the thought of like he never would watch it, and then he's like, oh, I could totally kick ass in this. I'm a stunt man. Yep, blah blah blah. And then he's watched a couple seasons. I don't know about Chrissy. I think Mary is a recent fan. Just with everything that I saw, she was only referencing like very recent seasons. And I'd be curious about Say too, because like Mary and Say are playing the game in a very transparent way, where they're like, I like transparently, like they're not trying to hide how much they're playing, which I think a lot of the super fans are like, oh, I need to like manage my threat level, and I can't let them know like how much of a threat I really am, and it's like,
They're so cool and mysterious.
yeah, which is not genuine. They're not. That means they're not being like truly themselves, which I think that's where super fans can get kind of annoying. Like if I were to ever be on the show, there would have to be some level of managing my threat level, but I'm not going to do it to the point where I'm like not being myself. If that makes sense. At least I hope I would. I don't know.
I think the why I've watched for so long, and definitely there's been some seasons that I'm not interested in as much, but like the I'm just at the point where I'm starting to enjoy the characters on the show. In the beginning, I'm like, oh, I can't remember anybody's name and I can't invest in people yet, but it's
There's so
just
many
starting
of
to
us.
get to that point where um it's really kind of fun to see people pushing out into the game, but also people pushing into their to like just like being there.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. And one thing I wanted to talk about was the tribe swap because that happened.
Yes.
And I said on the last episode of the podcast, I thought everyone on Green was going to make merge. Clearly, wrong. Clearly, wrong takes for me this
On the
season
on the new Green Tribe.
on the new Green Tribe. I chose Stephanie and Kevin, but I kind of like that. I feel like in previous seasons, I've been okay at like predicting things, like not 100%, but I have been able to like see them coming. Whereas this season, I've been like wrong so much all of the time. And I kind of like that. It feels like I'm always on my toes, and the editing also just feels I think, less formulaic than
Mm-hmm.
in previous seasons, where it was like, okay, this person's getting screen time, like they're gonna make it far, like they're getting like an okay amount. This person's getting way too much screen time, they're going home soon.
I'm I'm
Um,
I'm pretty sure on the Know It Alls podcast with Rob Cesternino and Stephen Fishback, they did mention this idea of the edit, and it's the editors are definitely starting to metagame. Like they know that, oh, we're giving Thomas a big like villain edit and Kevin this bit, like that means we think they're gonna go far, and then like plot twist they don't, like and then they're also showing things like Mary and Say's relationship develop. So there's all these different stories that they're juggling in such a masterful way, that I think they're doing very well. But sorry, Michael, not to cut off your train of thought.
oh no, that was it. That was the whole train.
Okay.
That was it.
I
The
think
train
it might.
has
I think
entered the station.
Yep.
I think Kai might have brought it up too. Like
Mhm.
I enjoy the chaos and I enjoy the drama. He said drama, and I do think like, let's have a democratic like approach to the drama, and not be so manipulative in the in who's winning or
Who's getting the
whatever.
screen time? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a messy process. Like let the episodes be a little messy that way too.
Well, speaking of messy, do we want to get into who we think has the best teams in the fantasy league?
Absolutely.
Um, if I can go first if neither of you want to. Just
I can put on my thinking cap.
Oh my god.
Woo! There
There
might
you
be
go.
some more of these
Whoa.
early day merchandise that Ellis won't wear.
Yes, we need to start
Whoa,
selling them.
whoa.
I'm just can you guys read it? It's kind of light.
When you went
Yes.
up closer, we definitely could see it. Let's also mention embroidered by the one and only Kai, guest star of last
Gosh.
episode.
I didn't know that. Oh my god. Wow. It's amazing.
We might have a few of these if anyone is desperate to have one.
Yeah,
but
maybe winner of the fantasy league can
Yeah.
wins a hat. That's
Little
that's the
swag.
prize.
Yeah, you can get a lot. That's
And it can
perfect.
say like champion of the Michael and Ellis show.
I was going to start out by pointing out, well, first of all, a lot of Bianca choices, and I'm just not seeing it. But
I'm with
Um,
you. I also
but-
don't see the Bianca hype, but maybe I'm wrong.
Mom, you're not a
Right,
fan of
maybe-
Bianca?
maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to give a little love to Abby and Nina because they each have Justin out, but Abby's got Mary and Star, and Nina's got David and Shaheen. Is that how you say his name? Shaheen?
Shaheen, yeah.
Shaheen? Hey, Ron. But I like the both of those pairs. They're very different pairs, but they're very compelling, I think. Mary
Mhm.
and Star, very interesting. David and I can't say
The teacher with the list of names.
it.
Um,
I know, I'm a teacher too, yeah.
no, I
Because,
thi- I think David and Shaheen could definitely go very far. Star, I think, who know, like preseason she was such a big personality. So I mean, I'm waiting for her to kind of explode, but maybe this is where like the editor's metagaming. It's like who knows what this means, if she's about to go home or she's gonna go really far.
Well, there's definitely been ramp up between her and Eva, especially with
Mhm.
Eva sitting everyone down and being like, "Hey guys, I'm throwing Star under the bus for all of you to like pick out like vultures. She doesn't have a vote. She can't open that goddamn canister. Like
I don't feel like that's a good strategy that Eva took there. I don't know. It's just a little too aggressive or something. I think
Kind of put all the cards on the table immediately.
Yeah.
Just like this is everything.
right.
And it's-
Which
and it's just like if Star doesn't have a vote, then I feel like they could just be like, okay, why don't we just vote Eva off first and then Star? But
I
And
mean,
knowing that Eva and Joe have a special bond.
exactly.
yeah.
And especially Eva admitting that Star's on the bottom of their tribe. I feel like for all of them who are like on other tribes, if you're going with tribe strength, you want the people who are on the bottom. So you'd want to gun for Eva over Star because
I
of
mean,
that.
maybe Star's a little Genevieve-esque, where once maybe Eva could go home next episode, and that's when Star's edit really starts to take off. Is like Eva's like the Keyshawn, and Star is the Genevieve. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I mean, I'm surprised you are a Bianca hater. That's okay.
No, I'm not a hater. I'm just like don't see it yet.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, do you have Bianca?
I do have Bianca. Which is what I was gonna say is, one, I think we're starting to get into the danger zone of Tim potentially running away with this, because I don't see Say going home anytime soon. I don't see Joe going home anytime soon. I think maybe, who knows? I mean, that Green Tribe is kind of a mess. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this season, I really just don't know who's gonna go home next. Like I really have no idea. I never would have thought Thomas. Like that would have been one of my last things. Even right before the tribal, I was telling Ellis, like I think it's Shaheen.
You and Kai jinxed me.
Yeah, like, and I'm just like I have never been right on like predicting who is going home.
But isn't Shaheen growing on you a little bit?
I mean, I also have him. So
you have, but Michael, wait, who does Michael have? Oh,
I literally just have David left. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about it.
David's on the girls' tribe.
I know, and he's killing it.
He is. He's growing on me. He wasn't my favorite, but he's like peeling the onion a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really like David. I think that may just be my coping strategy with having only one I'm clinging on to dear life. But
to finish I think either we're screwed and Tim has a winner, or we better hope that we are in like striking distance by the end, so that if we have the winner and Tim doesn't, because he's the only one that has Say too. So the farther Say goes, the better, because he like has the monopoly over how well Say does, basically.
Yeah.
I also think, me personally, like as someone who has Bianca, I need someone from Beck's team to go home soon, because she has the better Bianca team. So
yeah,
it gets to a point in this fantasy league where like if you share players with other people, you have to root against their team in hopes that you are the better version of like whatever player you share.
I like that Mary Kamilla combo that Beck has.
I know. I'm not looking good. I think Beck's team is really strong.
I was gonna say, like, for the team that I think is doing all right now is Beck. I didn't like Kamilla, but the last episode made me really like her.
Why not, Michael?
When I found out she was a Discord moderator, it's like ick. And also the fact that she was like, David's such a Chad. I was like, ew, okay. Stop that. But she did really like shine in this most recent episode. Her and Kyle, who I think mostly kind of took a back seat because they were on Siva, and I feel like Siva was the most peaceful out of all of them, so they got the least amount of screen time. But I do think like Kamilla, I feel like she's either going home like really, really soon, or she's gonna make it like really far. Especially after the last move, I feel like that's definitely putting a target on her.
Yeah, I think there is some clarifications to be made. They didn't show it in the credits, but Kyle did use his extra vote. Mike Bloom, I think I'm pretty sure it was him. He confirmed it. We don't know why they didn't show it, but I guess it will be explained at the beginning of next episode. So it does make that tribe a lot more precarious, because they're going to be at like a deadlock 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2.
It'll also be interesting. Do you guys think Kyle and Kamilla will be able to keep up this like facade that they like are not close at all, or do you think that cover's blown at this point?
Oh no, it's blown. I mean,
You
they
think
were
so?
already talking about the Grammy performance of.
That's true, and they did vote together.
Yeah, that's what I was confused about. I was like, like they could have kept going with the bit. Like Kamilla could have voted for like Kyle and then just have it be X'd out, but I guess they didn't want to risk it.
Yeah.
But like that's why I thought that she was giving Kyle her extra vote, so Kyle could just have 2 votes and the idol, and she could still be like, no, I voted, like, and be like truthful and be like, no, I voted Kyle. I didn't know any of this. But
I mean, that's the thing too. I know when me and Michael were watching it, like they start to like do this lie, and we're like, whoa, like is this working? Like they feel like they're way too deep, like almost to the point where they're like, there's a point when we play like these like social deduction type games, and it's like me and Michael are both on the like evil team, and then we're both like going at each other, like accusing each other, and at some point it's like, crap, wait, like we gotta take the suspicion off of us somehow, and like, so I don't know, Mom, when you were watching it, who did you think was gonna go home before you found out?
You mean at Tribal?
Yeah, like leading up to Tribal, like.
Yeah, I mean, I was also, I couldn't believe that they got so far in the puzzle and then, oh my God, like, but I thought that they were, again, like like Camilla was just like, I shouldn't have stayed up on the perch. I should have been in there. I thought they were assessing it well. And I don't think that tribe's going to go back to tribal council this week or next week. I actually think that Joe and
Shaheen.
Shaheen.
yeah, that one. I think they're gonna
Beard guy.
I think they're gonna kind of come together, kind of like in like, yeah, they got burned, but it's the game. But I don't know. I just feel like they won't have to go to
Shaheen,
tribal.
You couldn't have just searched a little bit more to find the idol? Like,
right.
Look in the shoes. No.
I know that part. And yes, oh my God,
My
that
heart
was
was
so cringy.
racing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, they're gonna find it. And I guess he just kept it in his shoe, which was good.
But
Thomas's exit interview was interesting to watch. Sorry, not to cut you off. What were you gonna say?
no, I'm looking at my notes again, like, because if I'm saying that tribe's not gonna go to tribal, I'm looking at which one might.
Right.
And I would say like the Say Cedric.
Yeah.
The Orange Tribe. Yeah.
The Orange Tribe might go.
I think they've been gearing up. Like last episode, it kind of felt like they were gearing up. At least like Say and Cedric's dynamic is like so weird at this point that it's like so broken but together. So I'm interested to see what happens with that and if Say is one to take like revenge or not.
Yeah.
And
well,
yeah.
Sorry, I was just gonna say we're approaching the last 5 minutes. So do we want to get to predicting who we think is going home next week?
Oh God, I don't even know anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I first want to give a nice shout out to number 2, Sean. Hi, Jersey. Say hi to Jersey. Give Jersey a big hug for me. But I would say that, Sean at second, I'm always like for the underdog, and he's actually an underdog at second, So
it's true.
So
we're
I think
all
it is
underdogs out here.
Yeah.
Against Tim.
Against Tim. So true. Everyone versus Tim.
But it's funny how I just brought up the Orange Tribe that has Bianca. All you people who love Bianca.
With no vote.
With no vote, right? And then I also like that Kai's the only one who picked Mitch. Is that right?
Yeah. So he also has, the farther Mitch goes, better for Kai as well. Which I think Mitch, it will be a big it's interesting when I was doing the scoring, he doesn't have many confessionals, which, I mean, I wonder how much of that is to do with like his speech impediment. It may be difficult to get you know, concise like snippets.
I think
That
they'd work
being-
around that though. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that Mitch and Cedric have like made a solid like
Yeah.
Well, what I was
Uh,
gonna say is he's still one of the highest scoring players, and I think that's because, I mean, one, he's found a few advantages, and he's got, I think, did he get an episode title? Crap, I don't have it off the top of my head, but it's interesting that it was like he doesn't have as many. He's one of the lowest in confessionals so far, but he's still one of the highest players, which I think is really interesting, and I think he still has a lot of potential to rack up some confessionals. But yeah.
yeah. But my hot take would be like like Cedric and Mitch kind of coming together, trying to figure out who to vote out, and maybe that it might go towards Say or Bianca.
Whoa. Oh my God. If Cedric, I was always just assuming that Say would win the Cedric Say battle. It'd be crazy if the conclusion of that would happen next week and Cedric comes out on top. That would be crazy. That is
Who has more influence over Chrissy?
Mitch, I think, has the most out of any of them.
Right. So I put them in with a 3-2. So Say or Bianca going home.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, Chrissy's like one confessional she had last episode was like tribe strength, and that was kind of it. So even though she does not get along, or not that they don't get along, but she did say that her and Mitch have never talked strategy before, but Chrissy was like, I'm willing to put that aside to like keep this like Siva strong.
Yeah.
Well, it's
so
also
I know we're wrapping up, but I'm gonna like go out on a limb and say that Say is going home, even though
Oh my God.
amazing player.
Wow. Wow. That is
Some of the
a
strong
big,
ones
bold
go right
prediction.
now because they know they're ramping up, you know.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Especially letting them get to merge might be.
You know, it's interesting too because they show Bianca be like, so like, I'd love to work with you and Cedric, and Say is like, you get a feel for Cedric before you make that commitment. And so maybe we also have 10 minutes left on the Zoom, so this will work out perfectly.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just interesting that they showed that little like detail, because maybe Bianca will want to work with Say, but ultimately be like, I gotta stay with the numbers of Chrissy, Mitch, Cedric, and herself, even though she is not contributing to the numbers at all.
Cedric's hard to read though. It could definitely flip the other way, but
yeah. Well, Cedric and Mitch bonded over both of their like speech difficulties. I mean, I guess Cedric had a speech impediment at some, or I guess he still does, just more in control.
Yeah, speech therapy. I personally think there's like a trend, I think, this season of like honesty is key, and the people who have been dishonest have gone home. Like Justin lied about not having his vote and he got sent home. Thomas lied about the steal a vote and he got sent home. So it really seems like the people that lie are the people that go home, especially when it's about an advantage or disadvantage that they have. With that said, I think it could be Bianca because she's not telling anyone that she doesn't have a vote. And when you go into a tribal of 5 with that, I feel like Cedric still has this like affinity with Say, and will be like, and like even though like he did vote her twice, I feel like he's going to be like, no, I would rather vote like another person than you. Like I feel like it's the same thing when he tried to save Kevin and he tried to save Justin, but it didn't work out that way.
Well, very, very good reasoning, but your own prediction that whoever you pick, maybe Say is, maybe I
Mitch does have the block a vote too, which is important to remember.
Oh right, I forgot about that.
So I think you guys are deducing the Orange Tribe very well, and I hope you're both wrong. And because of that, I just hope that orange doesn't go to tribal. So I'm going to predict purple goes to tribal. And
purple.
I think it feels like Charity would be the obvious pick. Because it seems like, there was the awesome edit of Charity being like, Dave, I love David. He will do whatever I tell him. And then right away, David's like, I don't trust her at all. She would have been the first to go. So I think they're going next episode, but maybe I'm gonna zag again. I don't think it's gonna be Charity. I think it will be crap. I think it's either gonna be Star or Eva.
Yeah.
It would be disappointing if it's Star because we've barely seen anything from her. And I really
think
wouldn't
Eva
want
more
it to
than
be
Star.
Eva. You think so?
Yeah, because of that throwing Star under the bus too abruptly.
Okay. Yeah. So then, yeah, that's it. I guess I'm predicting Eva. That would suck because I wouldn't want to see her go either. But that's my prediction.
It's the way the cookie crumbles.
Oh God. Why
well, wait, just think of it from Mary's point of view, Ellis, just a little bit, because I think Mary's really smart. Like, what's she gonna do?
Well, so here's the thing: is I think Mary likes David, and also like if Eva is like Star was on the bottom, why would you want to vote out someone that was on the bottom of the other tribe? If anything, you can recruit them.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about Charity, too. So I feel like, if anything, that makes Star and Charity safe in Mary's eyes. She wants to either target David or Eva, and in that case, I think she's targeting Eva, not David. Yeah.
Full circle.
There we go. Well, and full circle, our podcast has come. We have gone slightly over the half-hour mark, but I think that is okay. All things considered.
I encourage you to invite another mom. Like, was it Beck's mom that was?
Oh yeah, we.
Alan.
Yeah, that Beck, if you are watching, I did let. It was a little ironic that in our group chat there was mention of another mom potentially joining. So yeah, maybe we could have a family a family podcast.
We are a family friendly show.
That's very true. Okay, well, Michael, do you want to send us off here?
Happily. Thank you all so much for watching and listening to us. It means so much. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the season? The rivalries. Do you agree or disagree with any of our takes? We'd love to know. And thank you, Tory, for coming on and being a guest. It means so much to us. We are so grateful and so happy that you could be here.
I love watching with you all remotely, and whenever we can watch in person, let's do it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.